Oh, hey, Wonder World. How the fuck are we today, guys? Just coming in hot for our 100 wonderful ways to get more and better clients. Let's make sure that we're all live streamed into the group because we've definitely been having some streaming issues. Um, so looks like we're good and ready to go. So just say hey when you guys are popping on today. And let's get this party started, okay? So today's topic is all about storytelling. Okay. So once upon a time, motherfucking energy, guys, because storytelling is a key essential tool in helping you to close more and better clients. Your ability to tell your story, to articulate the value of your offer comes through an emotional context. Because I got motherfucking news for you guys. Okay. People don't buy from logic. Let's say it again. People don't buy from logic, okay? They buy from emotion. Emotion. And this is why you can sit there until you're fucking blue in the face and you can explain every little detail that's inside of your program and you can justify it and prove it and talk about how fucking good it is. And still no one buys, okay? That's because people don't buy from a place of logic ever, okay? Ever, not ever. You don't buy from logic. I don't buy from logic. No one buys from logic. Everybody buys from a feeling. Okay, so how do we elicit feelings in our lives? We tell stories, right? Okay, I want you to think of every religion known to motherfucking man, right? Known to motherfucking man, every single one, all rooted in what? Stories, right? Stories, okay? There's a Bible, and what is it filled with? Stories, right? Okay, every fucking book that you have ever read, stories. Every movie you have ever watched, story. Every Netflix series that you have ever binged till 4 o'clock in the morning, stories, right? Storytelling is a quintessential tool in being able to close more and better clients. If you can't tell a really great story, guess what? No one's going to fucking listen to you. Absolutely no one. Okay. Nobody listens to people who are not telling stories because remember those textbooks that we read when we were in high school? Okay. So it was like, these terrible textbooks and they were like, really boring and dry and like kind of tasted like saltines like in your mouth with nothing to drink, right? Just boring and dry and shitty. Do you remember that shit? No. Okay, let me tell you what I fucking remember. When I was in eighth grade, I had this I actually no, it was seventh grade. When I was in seventh grade, I had this history teacher and his name was Mr. Harris. Okay, you guys know I don't love school. Okay, I'm not a school person, but this teacher was exceptional. Okay, his name was Mr. Harris, and we were learning about like US, like early US history, like Louisiana Purchase and all that kind of shit. Okay. And we also had like some like state stuff. And so this motherfucker, every quarter of the year, right? So in those different little semesters for the year, he dressed up as a different character and was the teacher from that fucking era, right? So he came as like this trapper guy that was like a total asshole. And I still to this day, I mean, I definitely know now that it was just an excuse for him to get to be an asshole to fucking seventh graders, as well deserved, right? But he dressed up as like a trapper in furs and like, the fucking raccoon hat and all the things. And he was like this mean old man. And he would just like yell at us and like do mean old things. It's like, you're never gonna learn, right? And like and do all this stuff. I remember everything from that unit because the entire thing was a story, right? Like he was illustrating a story by coming in the door acting like this. He wasn't just reading out of a textbook. In fact, we didn't even have textbooks in that class. He taught us with like real live experiences. He literally took, we were learning about the Donner Party. I know people on the East Coast don't know what the Donner Party is. Google it, but it's a story about cannibalism of people going over the Sierra Summit and having to eat each other. And so one of the things that you have to eat, right, is that they had to eat was leather. Like, so they were eating like tanned hide leather. This motherfucker brought a pot and boiled tanned leather in the class and fed it to us. You never get away with that shit now, right? Okay, so that's a story. He's telling a story. And now, me, years and years and years, fucking lots of years later, I'm telling that story of what I learned to you guys. Do you see how that works? Stories live on. I will forever remember Mr. Harris's name and I will forever remember that class and that will forever be the best teacher that I ever had. And I will always, when I'm juxtaposing talking about how much I hate school, I will always talk about how incredible Mr. Harris was. Right? His legacy lives on through my mouth for forever. I gotta get that guy. I wonder where he's at. Is that guy still alive? And get that guy on the podcast. That guy's a fucking awesome, right? Okay. So if anybody knows Mr. Harris in Reno, hook me up. Okay. So, really understanding that storytelling is the crux of what creates connection, cultivation, and conversion. When you can accept this, this is when you start to really get better at marketing. Because what is marketing, guys? It's a fucking story. Okay, it's a fucking story. Insert Super Bowl commercials here. Let's talk about the fucking Budweiser puppies, right? So we have the Budweiser, the golden retriever, right? What are we doing there? We're eliciting emotion, right? We're connecting with the American dream of the fucking picket fence and your fucking golden retriever dog, right? And the little puppy, and it runs out and it licks the little boy in the face, and everyone says, oh, right? And it melts our little heart. Emotion. So we tie Budweiser, which is arguably a terrible beer, right? We tie Budweiser to the emotion of a golden retriever, of like beautiful, like just majestic looking stampeding Clydesdales running through the field, right? We tie it to those silly little frogs that were like Budweiser, right? Okay, we don't like Budweiser. It tastes like piss water, but it doesn't matter because it elicits a feeling and because you know the brand through the stories that the brand tells. Okay. We talk about Nike, right? Like Nike is the energy of just do it. They're not selling shoes. They're selling status. They're selling fucking athletic prowess of being better than other people, right? Running at 5 a.m. Okay. Like that's what they're selling. It's a story. Every single advertisement that you have seen is in fact a fucking story. Okay. So when you start looking at your marketing as a story and what story you want to tell with your brand, what core values you want to exemplify so that you call in the right people. When you start looking at your product as a story instead of a list of attributes, this is when you actually start marketing and fucking and not until then. Okay. You are not marketing until you start telling a story. Does that make sense? So when you think about the thing that you sell, okay, there's lots of things that we call iconic brand stories that are laced into that. And an iconic brand story is basically the proof, right? The story showing, illustrating, really helping people to feel and understand and know that you do in fact have the results that you fucking sell. That's what it is. So when you think of your offer, what are the results? Put it in the comments. What is the result of your offer? When people buy it, they come in the door, they do what the fuck they're supposed to do, they do the modules, they show up to the coaching calls, they take action. What is the result that they get in their little hand? Okay. What is that result? Put it in the comments. Okay, when we look at this result, the next question to ask yourself is how do you know you have that result? Okay, because we don't sell results we don't have because that's unethical. Okay, so if you're like, I sell client attraction, but you don't have any clients, fuck off, get out. Okay, fuck off, get out. I don't help people like that. That shit is unethical. You sell results you do in fact have. How do you know you have that result? There should be a story that starts to weave in your mind because it's like once upon a time, right? Once upon a time, I didn't have this result, and then I did this thing, and now I do have this result, and it's completely changed my life. And it's changed my life so much that I actually want to help other people with it. Does that make sense? Okay, is that what happened in your brain? Do you see those pieces, right? Okay, so when we see those things happening, this is your iconic brand story. And there might be multiple iconic brand stories, right? Because it's not just one thing. And eventually you're going to have more testimonials, you're going to have more clients, and maybe their story is more exciting than yours, right? So you can use those iconic brand stories. You've probably heard one of mine once or twice, right? The first iconic brand story that I used, that this iconic brand story was really what like kicked off my entire funnel. Okay, is that once upon a time I got fired from both my jobs, right? Okay, I got fired from both of those jobs, right? And so that story about the first 10 high ticket clients in my first 6 weeks, that is my iconic brand story. And so you may be scrolling through Wonderworld and you'll see this whole thing, right? Where it comes up and it's like 10 high ticket clients in just 6 weeks, right? And like maybe there's like a little emoji that goes with it, or maybe I have a follow-up line sequence, right? And it blew my mind, or I was crying on a live, right? Okay. Or I got to say, I told you so. There's some emotion that comes with that because we start with that headline, right? 10 high ticket clients in just 6 weeks. And I got to tell everyone in the bar, fuck you, I told you so. That's a feeling, right? So result plus feeling. This is our headline. This is what champions our iconic brand story. Because when we lead with the pain, right, and the struggle, then we attract struggle bunnies. And those struggle bunnies, guess what? They're going to cheer you on. They're going to tell you you're brave, but they're never going to buy anything because they don't actually want to change. They just want to complain and struggle because struggling is their favorite. Okay. So we don't want to have struggle bunnies, right? So we're going to lead with that result. People who want the results. right? So for me, this is 10 high ticket clients in my first 6 weeks, right? And I got to tell every motherfucker in that bar, I told you so, you fucking assholes, right? Because it wasn't always this way, right? Because I just got fired from 2 jobs, not one, but 2 fucking bar jobs. I got fired for shit that was not my fucking fault. If you go to my brand new Instagram account, you'll get the story of that. You'll get the story of that. And you guys, on my brand new Instagram account, um, I posted the video of my last day bartending. And during this last day is when I got fired, because a different bartender, not me, okay, another bartender who was off shift was sitting at my bar and she drew a dick on that guy's face. Okay. Now she drew a dick on his face because he fell asleep with his shoes on. And those are the rules, guys. Rules are motherfucking rules. Okay. If you fall asleep with your fucking shoes on, you know the rules. I didn't make the rules. These are the rules. You get a fucking dick on your face. That's how that goes. I actually have the video of that. Isn't that crazy? Like, what are the fucking chances that I actually had the video from my very last bar shift? How was I mean, it's not like I knew it was going to be my last bar shift. It was a motherfucking Monday, but I have a video of her drawing the dick on Kyle's face, right? Okay. So on my brand new Instagram account, you can go watch the video. You can actually see it in actual real time. That's what I got fired for. And the kicker of this was, you know what happened after I fucking got fired? They promoted the girl who drew the dick and gave her my job. You can't even make this shit up, dude. You cannot even make that shit. I got fired for letting her draw a dick on his face, and then they gave her my job. Explain this to me. Like, explain this to me. Absolutely fucking insane. Okay. So when I tell that story, right, of once upon a time I got fired, we have some of that emotion that comes through the laughter, right? It's funny, but also the injustice because maybe you got fired from a job for doing something that's ridiculous, right? Maybe you got fired for the dumbest fucking reason in the world. Okay, so when I got fired from those jobs, like I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do next, right? I finished up my last consulting contract. I still had one more. Um, I went to Greece. I got engaged. I went to Greece. I spent a week or a month in Italy. It was fucking fantastic. But when I got home, I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. And so I fell into a Facebook ad funnel long before I knew what a Facebook ad funnel was, right? I just clicked a button and I remember exactly what that button looked like. It was this blue lagoon picture and it was like work from anywhere in the world. And I had just got back from traveling and I was like, well, that's for me, right? Okay. So I clicked on this ad and I didn't even really know it was an ad. And before I knew it, I was like on a phone call, like old fashioned, right? I was like on a phone call with this guy named Todd, right? And like we were talking and like I didn't know it was a sales call, you guys. I knew nothing about any of this shit, right? And so I was talking to this guy and like I don't know, like I just thought he was helping me to understand what this was about. Like I didn't know that he was closing me. Okay, because really I was kind of closing myself. So I closed in and I bought this $3,000 thing. Well, you guys, at the time I didn't have 3,000 fucking dollars. Okay, so I leveraged it on a credit card and I borrowed Daniel's credit card and put half of it on there, right? So half of it was on my credit card, half of it was on his credit card. Okay. And I bought this course, okay, about how to run Facebook ads for small business owners because my thought process here was that I was going to run Facebook ads for bar owners because that's all I knew. Little did I know that 3 months later, COVID was going to hit and destroy the whole world, and there was going to be no fucking bars open for the next year. I had no idea that was going to happen. So what I did was I got into the course and I hadn't touched a computer since fucking high school. And all of this tech stuff, you guys, I was crying, right? Like I did not understand it. Like I was like learning a whole different fucking language. I did not know what a pixel was. I was Googling what SEO stood for. I knew nothing, Jon Snow, absolutely fucking nothing. But I sat down and I did 90, not 19, 90 modules in 2 weeks. Bang my head against the wall because I was determined to learn this thing and I just spent all of this fucking money. I had to fucking figure it out. And then I went and got 10 high ticket clients in my first 6 weeks, right? Okay. And I was delivering to these clients, like, and I was having a really hard time and I was coming into the Facebook group for support like every day. Like I got a new client that, owns a jewelry store. Can somebody please help me with this? I got a new client that does this other thing. Can somebody please help me with this? Right. And I'm like crying and trying to get these people to fucking help me because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And one of them asked me, he's like, how the fuck did you get all of these clients? Right? How did you get all of these clients? Like you don't know how to run fucking Facebook ads, right? And so the coach inside of that program grabbed me and he put me on a call and he was like, I see that you're really struggling with the tech. I want to help you with that. And I was like, okay. So he was helping me with the tech stuff. But then he asked me, he was like, how did you get all these clients? And so I told him, I showed him exactly what I did. And it was like an Elle Woods moment, right? Where it was like, what, like it's hard, right? Like what, like it's hard. Like, I don't know that this is hard. Like, why are you guys having a hard time getting clients? Like, you guys know what the fuck you're doing. And so like that feeling came in where I was like, how is it hard for this? And so I just told them exactly what I was doing. I showed them the premise of this actual fucking content that crushes strategy, right? That you guys know and love so fucking well at this point. I showed them content that crushes. I showed them the 5 algorithm hacking pieces of fucking content that I put on my personal page to have people reaching out to me, small business owners who wanted help with running fucking Facebook ads. I closed these 10 high ticket clients that I didn't know how to fucking serve, right? And the coach looked at me and he's like, okay, can you teach that to some of the other people in here? Some of those people that have been helping you with the pixel, can you teach them that? And he's like, I was like, all right, like, I don't see why not, right? And so I taught it to this man named Ray. Okay, now Ray has a daughter who was 14 years old at the time, and she had just got out of a pretty invasive surgery, and Ray was really struggling, and he just needed to put food on the table for his daughter, and he was very stressed out. He was like just a ball of like overwhelming stress, and I was like, hey man, calm down, like this is gonna work for you. Like, and let's be real, Ray definitely knew how to run Facebook ads. He was just really bad at social media, and I was like, let me just show you what to do, right? And it was no big deal. We got into a call. I helped him to optimize his bio. I helped him to set up all the pieces, right? And I put it all into place. And literally 3 days later, he messages me and he's like, Nicole, he's like, I just closed a fucking $2,500 a month reoccurring fucking client. He's like, I can't believe it worked. He's like, I hate social media. I was like, I can't believe this fucking worked. And he was so happy. He was so thankful. And like, there was just that moment of like, he was like, you completely changed my life. Right. And like that feeling inside of me, it just changed everything. And that coach in that program, thank God, grabbed me and he's like, bitch, you need to stop running Facebook ads because you suck at it. And what you need to do instead is you need to start a coaching program. And I was like, cool, what the fuck is that? Right. I'd like never heard of any of these things. At the time, I thought there were 3 coaches in the world when I started my business. And that was Dino, my coach, Tony Robbins, and me. I didn't know about the rest of you guys. I didn't even know you fucking existed. So I started up this fucking Facebook group and then, Bob's your uncle 7-figure fucking year later. Right. But it all started with those 10 high ticket clients and that impact that I saw on Ray's face as he was now able to provide for his daughter. And he went on to close more and more clients. Right. And I could see how this skill set that I brought from bartender land was so impactful because guys, content that crushes doesn't come from the coaching world. Okay. Content that crushes comes from bartender land. I used to teach bartenders this thing. Okay. This is how we got butts in seats. This is how I took people from making $50 on a shift to making $300 on a shift, right? Is using content that crushes, using social media. Now, I didn't call it that back then because I didn't fucking know I needed a name for it. I just trained every bartender what to post on the days that they worked. That's it. That's what content that crushes is. And that's why it works so fucking well because it's not in the pyramid scheme of fucking coaches bullshit. You're not competing with every other fucking coach on the market because you're using a strategy from bartender land, right? It's fucking badass. And guess what that strategy is rooted in? Storytelling, right? It's not rooted in proving yourself and like, doing value posts. Like, fuck that shit. It's telling stories, transformational stories that show people where you were before, what you did differently to get these results, right? And what the impact is now. So I have this iconic brand story of 10 high ticket clients in my first 6 weeks. Okay. Those were not coaching clients. Okay. Those were agency clients. It was, 20K a month reoccurring, right? But it was really, really hard because I wasn't good at it. Okay. But I closed those 10 clients without really knowing that it was a big deal. I didn't know that it was supposed to be hard. So I just did it because what I did in bartender land always worked. So of course it was going to work over here. I just expected it to work. And so now I teach that again and again. And now I have tons of iconic brand stories to back that up because after that happened, I started a beta. I started this Facebook group, right? I opened this Facebook group and 4 weeks later, I launched a beta, closed 20 people into it, made $6,000, changed my motherfucking life because I could not believe that people were willing to pay me for my intellectual property. I had no idea that that was a fucking thing. Changed my life, blew my mind, right? But that was the lowest amount of money I ever made ever again in a month, right? Because I made 6K in that first month, 22,000 in the next month, and 60,000 in the month after that. I had my first 6-figure month 8 months in, and I was at 7 figures in a year. Right? Boom, 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 boom. Okay. That was my story. That's how I lined things out. But in those iconic moments in that beta group of people, there was a girl named Jasmine and she was 22 years old. right? She was working for a copywriting agency, making $1,200 a month, living in San Diego. Fucking that shit's expensive, right? Her and her boyfriend were living in kind of a shitty, dumpy apartment. And like, you know, I got on a call with her and I like helped her. She was one of my first beta clients and I helped her to set up Content That Crushes. And I helped her to develop a higher ticket offer that actually made sense instead of working for this shitty ass fucking agency. She was a really great copywriter. Right? She actually helped me with the first copy that went onto my very first sales page that sucked, by the way. Okay. But her copy was good. The sales page sucked. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. So you know, I worked with her and within fucking 3 weeks of working together, like in that first fucking 3 weeks, she went and closed a $3,500 client. And then the next week she closed two more. And so in her first month inside of Nonstop, she made fucking $10,000 fucking dollars and was making more money than me instantly. And she sent me this testimonial video that was just, I mean, every time I think about it, I start crying, right? Because she's crying in the video, like I cried of like watching it. And I remember sitting in my living room, right? Staring at this video and like showing it to my husband and being like, watch this video. Like she is like dumping tears and she's like, this changed my life. Like I am a completely different person. Like I went through this thing. Like if you want to work with somebody, like work with Nicole, this will change your life. And like I was crying, she's crying, everyone's fucking crying, right? Every time I think of the video, there's crying because it was so impactful. It was such a quintessential fucking moment where I realized that I had something special that was actually going to help people. I mean, imagine being 22 years old and learning how to make $10,000 a month. Like, God, I wish I fucking knew that shit when I was fucking 22 years old, that it was possible, right? That people would pay me like that, that my skill set and my intellectual property was that fucking valuable at 22 years old. Fuck, I wish I knew that shit, right? And so that feeling of like, the sooner you better, right? The sooner the better. The earlier that you do this, the better. And when you learn the skill set, you can pass it on to your kids, right? And I started to realize that my children were never going to have to suffer through the shit that I fucking went through because my children will always know how to make money. They may not choose to do it the way that I do it, but they will always know how to make money. They will always know how to leverage their intellectual property to make money because I've taught that to my teenage children, right? That's changing, not just generational wealth because I'm handing you the keys to the fucking kingdom, but generational wealth of intellectual property. And that will be true of Jasmine's children's too, right? That's the wonder ripple in full effect. That's the change. That's the feeling inside of it. And those are the kind of iconic brand stories you need to start telling. It's not about how many modules are in your program. It's not about how much support you give people, right? It's not about all the fucking bells and whistles and how you set up the fucking tech and the automations that you do and your really cool onboarding system. It's about the fucking feeling. That's why people buy. It's from the actual feeling of the limitless possibilities that their life could be better, that this result could make such a lasting impact for them. That is why people buy. And if you're not telling iconic brand stories like this, you're leaving money on the table. But more importantly, you're leaving impact on the table. You're not helping the people that you could be helping because you're not willing to tell a story, because you're not willing to be raw and real and vulnerable, because you're not willing to show your fucking emotions on a goddamn live. And that's sad. Every time that I got that feeling where I was like, oh, this is weird and cringy and people are not going to want to watch me on this fucking live, I thought of Jasmine. And I reminded myself that if I wouldn't have put myself out there and if I wouldn't have started talking about all of these things in my life, that she never would have had that experience. And if she never would have had that experience, she'd still be working for that shitty ass fucking agency, making $1,200 a month, wasting her fucking talents. Fuck all that noise, right? Really allowing yourself to get into that energetic context, right? Really allowing yourself to see that next level of impact that comes from stories. Think about your favorite movie. What's your favorite movie? Put it in the comments. What's your favorite movie? I really tap into that energy. What's your favorite movie? And why is it your favorite movie? Okay, it moves you in some way, right? There's an emotional context to that. And that emotion might be exhilaration. It might be nostalgia, right? It might be love, but it moves you in some way. You've got to start thinking about your marketing like a movie, like a story, right? What story are you telling your clients, right? What story are you telling them about your brand context, your personal brand element? What story are you telling? Because that's what makes all of the difference in the world is your ability to connect leads to your ability to cultivate, leads to your ability to convert. But that all starts with emotional context in storytelling. And that's why inside of Content That Crushes, that's exactly what I teach you. Yes, you get the 5 algorithm hacking pieces of content that you need in order to increase your visibility, right? To level up and work with the algorithm instead of trying to fight against it. right? You're working with it and it's doing good things for you because now you know how to effectively use it. And that's important because visibility is a big part of fucking storytelling, right? What good is telling a story if nobody fucking hears you? So you got to be able to tell that story in such a way that the algorithm supports you with it, right? But it all comes down to that iconic brand story, being able to lead with that result and the feeling of that result, being able to showcase vulnerably in a raw and real way where you were before, right? What you did in the middle to create those results, right? Okay. And what the impact of those results are. When you can do that in a transformational story and you can break it into 5 algorithm hacking pieces of content, this is when you actually start closing clients and having people reaching out to you and saying, hey, how do we work together? How did you do that? Can you help me with this? Right? And your DMs start to fill up with people who want to reach you, who are reaching out to you. You are not chasing them. You don't have to chase clients when you tell really great, iconic fucking brand stories, right? So content that crushes gives you the basis of this. If you don't have content that crushes yet, I mean, guys, it's $7 fucking dollars. Okay. It's $7 fucking dollars. You're going to spend more of that at fucking Starbucks today. Okay. $7 to get the 5 algorithm hacking pieces of content. They're going to set you up to tell iconic brand stories that call in your unicorn clients from all corners of the motherfucking globe so that they can pay you for your intellectual property and change your life. And so that you can realize that you don't have to 9 to 5 grind. You don't have to fucking work in that shitty job that you don't want to work in. You get to create something that is magical and specific to you and something that you love doing every fucking day. How cool is that? And you get to make the impact that you were born to fucking make. It all starts with this single content strategy. So drop a unicorn in the comments. I'll send you guys over the link. I'll have the fucking team fucking come in, give you guys a link. Just drop a unicorn in the comments and we'll hook you up with content that crushes. Now, the added bonus of content that crushes is that you get a one-on-one call with me. Okay. And I will help you to position your offer. Okay. I will help you to ensure that you're leading with a tangible, monetizable result, that you have positioned this offer in such a way that people will buy it, not just clap for you and tell you that you're fucking brave, right? No one cares about being inspirational, right? You could drop those fucking knowledge pieces into people's minds so that it actually creates conversions instead of just clapping and people that are brave, right? Okay. So we'll get on a call, we'll dial that in. But also, you get access to post in this group. Okay, there are 31,000 and some change people inside of this group. I am actively growing this group every single day with organic and paid traffic. Okay, so there are people coming into this group literally every single fucking day that could be your possible unicorn client, that could be people that buy from you, right? And when you get content that crushes, you can use it inside of this Facebook group. Okay. Now we reserve the lives. You don't get to do lives in here unless you're part of Nonstop. Nonstop Notifications is my client extraction program where I teach you how to build your unicorn sales funnel and you can start creating 5-figure months that collapse those timelines into 5-figure days. And you can have the lives there. But all of the written content you can post in here anytime you want without having post approval. Okay. You'll just have your post approval turned on automatically when you take your Wonder Vow. At the end of content that crushes, you're going to receive a bonus that's going to show you how to take your Wonder Vow. You take your Wonder Vow, you post it in the group, and then we come in and we turn off that post approval and you can post in this group anytime you want, right? You can show up and attract your unicorn clients inside of my Facebook group that I'm intentionally growing every single fucking day for $7, not $7 a month, just $7 fucking dollars. It's an absolute fucking no-brainer. If you're serious about making more money, if you're serious about getting to the next level, you joined a group called Client Attraction Secrets because you want more and better fucking clients, right? That's why you're fucking here. Let me help you to get those clients. Okay, so just drop your unicorns in the comments. We'll swing by. We'll hit you up with those fucking links, right? So you can get inside of content that crushes. And if you're a smart cookie, you'll elevate up to the next level, which is called Money Making Unicorns. Money Making Unicorns is my monthly membership group. And I'm heading over there right now because today we're going to be talking about iconic brand story because I had some people submit their iconic brand stories to me yesterday. And I'm actually going to go over their specific iconic brand story. I'm going to read it out loud. I'm going to help them. I'm going to give them some feedback. I'm going to help them to strengthen that scroll stopping headline. I'm going to help them to really get into the emotions and the vulnerability of the beforehand, show the transformation in the middle, and really articulate that impact and the ROI that they have in having these results. So we're going to go over those individually today inside of Money Making Unicorns. So get your ass inside of that membership because that is an absolute no-brainer. $47 a month to be able to have this kind of one-on-one touch point with a multi-7-figure fucking entrepreneur that actually gives a fuck and actually wants to fucking help you to get more and better clients. No fucking brainer. Every fucking Tuesday, we go live inside of that group and we work on something that's going to help them to make more money because it is a money-making unicorn membership. All right. Okay, guys, so I'm heading over there right now. You know the drill. Get out there, do all of the wonderful things, and we will see your bitch asses next Tuesday.